Hope everyone is doing well. Welcome, welcome. Who do we have? Aman's here, Tom's here, Leon, Alex. We're a small group today because we are doing it on a weeknight, which is unusual. But I'm happy that few of you have been able to join in. This should be fun because we've had some uh, critical updates, let's say, to our loyalty programs and credit cards, and great conversations are being had, I guess, offline. So I figured why not discuss some of these with you folks directly. Tom says, how was the Ottawa event? Ottawa event was great. Hi, Alex. Thank you for putting that in. Tom, Ottawa event was awesome. We were a small group of 30 people and had a lot of fun chit-chatting all things points. Of course, the theme was credit cards and maximizing credit card points. So yeah, we spoke about kind of divided the group into three for our focus group section. So other than all the fun activities that a typical meetup has, we also sort of divided ourselves up into three groups with themes of like flexible current points, co-branded airline or not credit card points, which are flexible, co-branded hotel and airline points, and cashback. And then we had several topics that we went through. And of course, the one that gets a lot of discussion in this community, we also had a robust conversation around US cards. So yeah, I think that was fun. And as most fun things and points, miles, and bling things end up being, there were some good round of champagne bottles that were opened up towards the end, which was enjoyed by the group. So yeah, there was that. What else were people up to? If you weren't doing cool things at the Ottawa meetup, what did you folks get up to over the weekend? Actually, Aman mentioned something to me right after. I think Aman, not I think, Aman came in from Toronto. Actually, there were quite a few people that had flown in from Toronto and for the event. And Aman, this was his first time in Ottawa and kind of messaged me after, said Ottawa is underrated. And I jokingly said that, oh, it needs to remain like that. We don't need to spread the word too hard everywhere else because I like Ottawa, the boring city that it is, to stay the way it is because it works perfectly for my lifestyle and the little bit of fun that we can do in the city without garnering too much attention around the globe, I suppose, or around the country. Alex says too late. Porter is putting Ottawa on the map. Yeah, and funny enough, because I had that. Oh, Aman's here as well. Aman says surprisingly green too. Really? Why was that surprise? Oh, I guess Aman, the center of the world is not Toronto. Just FYI. Haha, kidding. But yeah, Ottawa is very green. Ottawa is very navigable. Ottawa is super like nice infrastructure when it comes to roads and canals and things like that, because it certainly caters to a certain diaspora and to a certain population. So, yeah, all good things. And again, these are biased things that I'm, sp well, I guess biased simply because I live here in Ottawa. I have been for over 20 years now. I love the city. So I'm glad you got to enjoy a little bit of that, Oman. And yeah, like Alex was saying, too late because airlines, yeah, newer airlines coming in will bring in newer people. A few days after our event on the radio, I think I was dropping pre off to work, and then on the radio we were listening. They were talking about this was apparently the bumper year for tourism in Ottawa, and compared to even pre-COVID days. So it's not just you. I mean, a lot of people are figuring out Ottawa and everything that it has to offer. So I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad you're able to sort of get in on the action. Uh, One says all I see is concrete buildings out of my apartment. Yeah, and I suppose there's beauty in that as well, right? A lot of people like the big city feel, like the concrete jungle, and all the good and the bad that it brings with it. So I think there's space for it all. I suppose not every city can be as sparsely populated as Ottawa, and not every city needs to be as densely populated as a Toronto. And I say this as someone that grew up in Mumbai. Um, yeah, so cities have their own vibe, and smaller cities like Ottawa have their own because they're much easier to live in. Uh, the lifestyle tends to be a little bit better. So yeah. Anyways, enough of me selling Ottawa to the folks that have joined in on the call. I bet you didn't come here to talk about Ottawa as much as you did to come here to tell me why the changes to the RBC WestJet cards have been brutal on this community. I'm tongue in cheek, of course, because with the context of the points community that this is and how much we revel in premium products. Let's look at the changes and talk about the RBC WestJet World Elite Mastercard, right? Because that's the card that a lot of our travelers that are into points and miles have. So let's look at that. So the big one. Well, I'll go in the order that I wrote my post in. So the annual fee was the first big one. In that, they had mentioned that the last time annual fee on this card had changed or shifted was back in 2017. So with that filter in mind, the current annual fee of $119 is going to increase to $139 starting December 1st. So if you get your card December 1st or onwards, you will be paying $139 on that card. So it's fairly nominal when you think of the last time it changed. And again, I'll put the caveat and the filter that my job as a blogger, as somebody that's reading these things and seeing these things sometimes in advance of public news, my job is to bring you the updates and the news as is to read it through. My job is not to tell you how to feel about it. So don't get me wrong when a lot of times I say, oh, this is nominal because my context and POV is very different than somebody that might be actively using the program and might see it as an immediate devaluation. And those of you know what I'm talking about on Discord, we had this nice conversation going about why some of you felt like it was an absolute slander to the program, whereas somebody like me was just reading out the changes and trying to make sense of why the banks were doing what they were doing. So keep that in mind as I go through this. And of course, I'll read out all of your comments. So feel free to put that in the comments here. And I will read out everything that was said on that lovely discourse as well, uh, just so that everybody gets a fair represent, all the thoughts and POVs get fair representation on this forum. So anyways, annual fee was the first change, $119. It'll be $139 starting December. Um, with that increase, they are also introducing three new accelerators. So initially, or right now, the program only earns you 2 points on every two WestJet points on WestJet flights and vacations. But starting November 5th, which is in a couple of months' time, not only will you earn 2 points on WestJet and Sunwing vacations or WestJet flights, you'll also earn them on Sunwing vacations. And then you get your groceries, gas, EV, transit, rideshare, the entire gamut. Everything earns 2 points per dollar, which is a nice little accelerator. They're basically trying to get you to spend more on that card, keep that card for longer, because obviously restrictive earning is never good on a card in the long run. So I'm glad to see that they've brought on some daily expenses categories, which folks that are getting these cards will be able to use on and will be able to spend enough on there to get the other perks, such as Companion Pass. Because Companion Pass is changing slightly. Nothing changes to the welcome companion vouchers that you get with the card approval. There's no change there. But for any companion vouchers that you want to earn after your first year, so second year onwards, you have to put in a minimum $5,000 spent on that card to get your companion vouchers second year onwards. And the other slight changes, right now you can only exchange it for 4 lounge passes if you're not going to use your companion vouchers. Starting November, you'll have a couple of other options, which in my opinion is great. These couple of new options, the first one particularly, which is 30% for solo economy discount. This is great for solo travelers. So if you are not going to be traveling with a companion, you can at least still travel by yourself and enjoy a 30% discount on your flight. Really, really good. And I think they mentioned this in their uh, media release, saying that they had listened to what current members were saying, some of the struggles and challenges, and this was a direct response to that, which I really appreciate, which is 30% solo economy discount, or you can get $200 vacation credit, so $200 credit when you buy vacation packages, or you can still exchange that for 2 lounge passes. So it's going from 4 lounge passes down to these three options, and you can choose whichever one fits you best. And like I sort of mentioned, nothing changes to the first year acquisition of these vouchers upon approval of the card. No spend required. Second year onwards, you have to put at least $5,000 in spend. And let's be honest, for those that are getting this card, see themselves on WestJet flights every now and then, will now be able to spend in groceries, gas stations, and whatnot, and at least be able to put in 5,000 in an entire year to at least leverage some of these companion vouchers. So allows for a little benefit for you to keep that card going forward. Uh, and then this was the big one, the free check bag. Right now, free check bag is not attached. So as long as you have the card, you get your free check bag, not only for yourself, but up to 8 guests on that booking, which is great. But what's changing and is critical is starting November 5th, you will get free check bags as long as you have paid at least a portion of that flight using that credit card, using your World Elite WestJet Mastercard. So this is a new and critical piece. And we sort of poked and prodded around it, and it turns out, or at least we are being told, that as long as even there's a partial card payment on that card, your free bag benefit will stick, which is good to see, because even if you're redeeming something, you can pay your taxes using that card and it'll stick. But obviously, the one that has bothered people the most are apparently third party purchasing of WestJet flights. So if you purchase your WestJet flight through, say, an Amex portal, an RBC portal, through Expedia, through any of the other OTAs, and you're not using the card, unfortunately, you won't be getting the free check back, which to me is a bit of a catch-22, and we'll get to why that is the case and why I think it is a bit of a mixed bag or a mixed feeling for me. But I'm sure there is. Left out a few people in the wait room there. Let's take a few of your comments around this, I'm sure. Oh yeah, of course, there's a couple of comments. Alex says, I think part of it is how WestJet puts a spin on things when it used to be WestJet dollars, and now they're selling one WestJet dollars for $2 Canadian. So a lot of people are cynics when they state improved card club, etc., etc. Fair enough, and that's fair point. That it's not just relegated to WestJet. It's every program, every bank tries to give it a bit of a positive tilt, even if they are making some significant or critical changes that might impact members negatively. But if you really push me to put my word out there, I would say in this case, there's more positives than negatives. It's, in my opinion, a little more positive than negative when you balance everything out. Of course, in this community, however, which is very skewed in their behavior patterns, in their redemption patterns, in how they use these financial products, and so on and so forth, this is a clear this is a clear sort of devaluation for those that are keeping this card purely for free bag usage while they're redeeming off of ecosystems outside of WestJet. And now what WestJet is forcing them to do, or this group to do, is that you have to have some engagement with this card in order for you to enjoy that benefit or that perk. And the fear is, well, my fear is that not once, this is now going to happen. This leaves others like Aeroplan and the others to be like, hey, guess what? If they can do it, so can we. So I don't know. We'll see. Leon says, 30% off solo economy discount probably doesn't include their high fuel surcharges. Yeah, and that remains to be seen. Most of these discount things that come through, 30%, 20%, or even their own, is always on the base tickets. I haven't seen the terms and conditions, particularly if they exclude any other segments or whatnot, but as long as it's 30% off base fare, then hey, 30% off base fare is something that I would take, because last year, the last voucher that was in my account just was wasted. I did not use it. I forgot to exchange it for lounge passes, and sure enough, my date passed and I sort of lost it. But now with the 30% discount, even if I take one or two flights in the year, that 30% discount will go a little bit further than sort of wasting a voucher that I did last year. That's how I'm looking at it. Farzan says, if I booked a WestJet flight for December prior to this announcement, will I still be eligible for the free check bag? And I think the answer to that is yes, but you are in that window I'm going to ask that question and get you a written response, Farzan, because that's a gray area that we still don't have an answer to. As your comments and everything else were coming in, we have been they are open to seeing questions from us, and we will ask those questions. What happens to folks that had already booked it? And I hope that in that case it will stick. But the key piece would be what the status of your card is when you're taking that flight. Um, I want to say that they'll let you sort of use that perk because you had purchased it at the time when these policies were not announced. So it should be grandfathered in. But hey, what do I know? It's WestJet, but I'll get you the response as soon as we have something official from RBC or WestJet themselves. All right. Without further ado, let me read out. I should open up because there were some really good comments, really good critical comments and counterbalances in this chat here. So and I want all of them to have a bit of a voice. So this started late evening yesterday. Casey said main differences I'm seeing is slightly higher uh, annual fee and companion pass, which I generally found good use with. So somebody that's finding good use of the companion pass. And then Tim says, don't miss no free bag unless you pay for fare with the card. That's new. They're trying to get you to spend on the card as opposed to keeping it in just for the perks. And yeah, hit the nail on the head. And then Gagan says, yeah, that's a devaluation. Adil, I think, says, yeah, I had a booking for travel coming up at the end of November. I was planning to use the free baggage, but looks like I have to pay up now. And that's the question that got me thinking, much like Farzan is, what happens to everything that has already been booked before these changes were announced. Um, and then there was a bit of a back and forth around that, but then where am I? So I kind of chimed in with my own. So Gagan said, so still a devaluation doesn't matter how you spin it. Well, none of the US and credit card, none of the US and Canada co-branded airline card do that for luggage. So can't believe it's good, but you can spin it no matter how you want. And when he says you, I don't think he was particularly meaning me more than the bank itself or the program itself. Um, uh, who is this? Another member said, don't know about all, but United does play games like these if you want free check bag for being a credit card holder. Um, I thought that was a decent enough data point. And yeah, when I asked for some specific examples, Gagan mentioned, let's say I booked using Expedia for TD or CIBC or any other third-party website, I will no longer get my free check bag, which is a devaluation in their experience. Cedric was here. Cedric said, yeah, or if you book any awards through Flying Blue, Delta, for WestJet, even if you switch to WestJet reward number, even if you switch to your WestJet rewards ID number, you probably won't get free bag either anymore. Yeah. And those are, like I said, gray areas, great questions, great data points that I will definitely be looking to get answers for. And Tim said, onshore, it's a devaluation even for non-maximizers. Ton of vacationers are going to be pissed now that they have to pay for baggage that they thought was free. And the new companion voucher they used to get on anniversary, now you have to spend 5,000. Okay. These changes are designed to get people to spend on the card. People get this card not to spend, but for perks. So I don't think the extra zero point 0.5 WestJet points earned at the grocery store, which already is poor value, is going to do that. Fair critiques. Um, Rex says, in my circle of friends, I know quite a few people that hold the WestJet card for free baggage. They are not churners. Clark says, I think we all look into this through the lens of the points community too much. I hate the changes mostly because of the free bag. I used to product switch to WestJet World Elite card when I had the opportunity or a flight coming up. However, most people who have a credit card with an annual fee usually have one or two flights. And if the WestJet card is in their wallet, they're most likely to use it everywhere. 5K spend is easily achievable for that group. They're booking WestJet flights, WestJet vacations, and using the card for its intended purpose. Yeah, great comments. I thought they needed to be put out there into the ether. People have an understanding of the different points of views that everybody is coming from, the points community, and how we are kind of different, very different to the usual traveler. And I was thinking exactly, I think Clark mentioned what I was already thinking is most people in that portfolio that have the WestJet card are using it because they do fly WestJet at least once or twice a year. They will put some spend on that card. They will get their free bags, even if they're doing just one or two trips in a year because they are going to use that card to pay for that. Unlike this community that gets some of these cards purely for the associated perks, and there's nothing wrong in that. That's the structure of the card. That's what the program allows you to do. So we should be able to leverage that for our travels, and that's what this community does. But of course, that free bag seems to have rubbed people the wrong way, especially the ones that were using this card particularly for that benefit, regardless of where they were purchasing their WestJet flights from. Uh, Reed is here. Hey, Reed. Reed says, will slurring already, too late. Uh, will cardholders still get a free check bag on award redemptions? Answer is yes. What about taxes and fees? Are paid with WestJet points? Oh, great question. I think as long as you have some partial payment on it, like if you cover everything with your points and there's no card interaction, at least by the terms and conditions, it sounds like you may not get that perk. Uh, let me get back to you. I mean, this will be part of the questions that we'll be sending out tomorrow. I just wanted to take everybody's feedback before we reach out to the banks, before we reach out to the programs to give us a clarification on it. But from what we've been told, not in so many words and examples, but the fact that as long as there is some engagement with the card in terms of some payment on that card for that ticket, the free bag will stick. The benefit will stick. But of course, we did not get a chance to ask them about what happens when they cover it fully with points. I'll get back to you on that. Summer schedule announced by Air Canada for summer 2026. So a couple of new destinations which caught my attention, of course, which probably if you already read about it, I didn't get a chance to write about this one, to be honest. The day was pretty full with WestJet and everything else happening around me. But they've announced that Shanghai and Budapest flights will be returning in summer 2026. So that direct Air Canada flight to Shanghai is back on. And there'll be more flights to Prague in summer 2026, so more summer connections. And with that Shanghai, Budapest, Prague, and all of those, they also shared that the new Boeing 787-10, which is the newest of that 787 variant, is on order and will be initially based out of Toronto to support some of these reintroduced routes like Shanghai. So fantastic news for those of you that travel between Canada and China and want to redeem some Aeroplan points, I suppose, dynamic or otherwise, for you to try this brand new aircraft. Will be coming to Toronto summer 2026. So keep your eyes peeled. With that, since we're talking aircraft, they also announced yesterday that the new A321XLRs, which are narrow body with full lie flat seats, are are ready to be in the market. So as early as spring, actually just even before spring, they'll be out and about in Canada in various schedules. But the first proper schedule will be flying for sure in that market was, of course, Mallorca, Palma de Mallorca in Spain. They announced that out of Montreal. So Montreal also gets Edinburgh and Toulouse. So Edinburgh, Toulouse will also get the A321 XLRs eventually. So Air Canada is scheduled to receive 10 of these aircrafts in 2026. The first ones, I think, will be used to Spain out of Montreal. But then once the rest of the aircraft come in 2026, we'll see them flying out of Toronto, Halifax, Ottawa. These three cities were confirmed by them. And when you think about Ottawa, this is a clear indication that the Ottawa to London flight, which is currently on the 787, will then eventually switch to these A321 XLRs, which I'm not mad about. I'd love to fly them. I recently flew the 787s between Ottawa and London. Great wide body fleet, but clearly time to upgrade these. And I'm looking forward to the A321 XLRs as well. They actually have 30 aircraft firm orders of these aircrafts, 10 of which will be delivered in 2026. That's what we know thus far. Uh, Tom with the obvious jibe says, will cost at least 300,000 for Shanghai in business. Are you sure, Tom? It won't be kind of like what happened to Australia for a little while there, 500,000, 1,000,000 points. We never know. Dynamic pricing at its best. Sash says, when does Edinburgh go live? Do we know yet? We don't, Sash, unfortunately. I would love to know when Edinburgh goes live, even when Toulouse goes live. Unfortunately, no dates given for that because I think their first of the aircraft is being delivered early spring 2026. But even they wait and watch when the other aircrafts, I'm sure they have an idea, but publicly they haven't shared when the other aircrafts will come through. But what they were able to share was Edinburgh, Toulouse will feature out of Montreal, and then eventually Toronto, Ottawa, Halifax will all get routes which will utilize the A321 XLRs. Hey, speaking of updates, I had written, so those of you that haven't seen our exclusive chat with Scott O'Leary a couple of weeks ago, I should have pulled up that YouTube. Anyways, if you haven't, go onto the Points, Miles, and Bling YouTube page. You'll see Scott's hour and a half, 2 hour session with us where candidly he spoke about all the changes coming in, the good, the bad, the ugly. It was a Q&A, AMA style session. So all of your questions were answered. There were some takeaways and homework for him, I suppose, because I wrote to him with a couple of questions that he wasn't able to answer live for us, but promised answers. And the answers are here. So here, I'm going to read it out verbatim just so that I don't botch this up. So one of the questions came from Scott, Canadian Cow. That was unanswered was, is the 250-mile minimum staying the same for partner earnings on partner tickets and for LQM, lifetime qualifying miles? And the answer was the 250-point minimum applies to Aeroplan points only and will continue to apply to Air Canada and Star Alliance flights. So that was the answer that they gave. And then the next one, which will apply to a lot more of you, and you might be you might want to hear this more keenly, is gifting status via Chase Level Up program. So if you utilize Chase Level Up in 2025 and got your super elite status, so you bumped yourself from 75K to 100K, and then you gifted that 50K status to somebody through that bump or after that bump yourself, will that gift also get extended all the way through to 2026, remaining 2025 and the rest of 2026, just like other status? That was the question. The question was, gifting status via Chase Level Up program, would gifted status be extended during transition year? And the answer was, Chase Level Up will occur in 2026, which is correct. So 2025 going into 2026. A Chase Aeroplan card member who spends 50,000 within the 2025 calendar year will be eligible for the Aeroplan Elite Status Level Up benefit once more in 2026. For Chase Aeroplan card members who qualified for Super Elite status in 2025 and gifted 50K status to a friend in lieu of the Level Up, their friend status will be extended provided they re-qualify for Super Elite in 2026. Does that make sense? So if you earned Super Elite status for 2026. So in 2025, if you utilize the Level Up program and became a Super Elite in 2026 and gifted that status, your friend's status will be extended all the way through, not only in 2026, but 2027, as long as you keep your 100K status in 2026 as well, or you qualify for that Super Elite in 2026. Hopefully that made sense. But yeah, so I'll read that out again. I'll put this in writing in a post tomorrow, so with a little more clarification and example for everybody. But for Chase Aeroplan card members who qualified for Super Elite status in 2025, what they mean is if you met all the requirements in 2025 and gifted the 50K status to a friend in lieu of the Level Up, their friend status will be extended provided they requalify for Super Elite in 2026. So that gift will always be tied to the primary member, right? Think of it that way. So as long as you maintain your status, your friend's gifted status will continue to be active through all of 2026 as well. And we'll move on in the meantime to the last topic. How about those Hilton devaluations that we've just heard in the last day or so? We are now up to 250,000 Hilton points on premium properties like Maldives or some of them in California and the others as well, especially Waldorf Astoria properties seem to be unhinged uh, from going from what used to be 150,000 Hilton points, 200,000 points, and now up to 250,000 points. So my question to you is, where does this madness stop for you to decide this is not worth it for me? This level of redemption on premium properties is not worth it for me. I'm either going to continue using Hilton for more mid-tier properties or probably for a niche portfolio like an SLH, which is fully integrated in now into the Hilton ecosystem. I did a quick search with some of the SLH properties, high-end SLH properties, and they all still hovered around 160, 170. I saw maybe a couple around 180, but I did not see any close to 200,000 or heck 250,000. So maybe SLH becomes the sweet spot in the premium or in the luxury category of redemptions and Hilton portfolio. What does that mean for your aspirations of aspirations? What does that mean for you to keep your Hilton Aspire card? Does with Hilton Aspire card you get your free night certificates that can still be topped up a little bit, but is that still as lucrative for you? Let me know what you think about this. But because somebody like me, because I often look for sort of very premium, high-end luxury properties, this 250 thing is not sitting well with me, to be honest. I would love to go and explore Waldorf Astorias around the world, but if I'm going to be relegated to using my Hilton points at SLH properties or using some of the certificates, as Dahlia is saying, Hilton certificate isn't capped yet. Fair enough. And nothing changes. FNC is still good as Aspire is. Yeah. And if I had to use those certificates, I think I'll continue using them. But gee, the points is just really going bonkers. And I feel like they keep pumping these Hilton points into member accounts through zero point 0.5 cents per point purchases or these big acquisition offers on the credit cards and such. But it's really starting to show, at least on the higher end. So I'm not enthused particularly for myself. But uh, the fact that the certificates continue to be valuable is something that we can all still hold our certificates close to our hearts and continue using the Hilton properties. um, what was your last redemption, Sash, on the free night certificate? Or like how far were you able to rake in the redemption with those free night certificates? 180, 200? Have you done any of those? Will you be doing some of these 250,000 redemptions through those certificates? Dahlia, maybe you can chime in on that. But yeah, I think I always thought that Marriott was leaving all of them behind in terms of pure devaluations at the higher end, but the recent Hilton one definitely had me jolted a bit. Sash says nothing too special. Recent was Conrad Bora Bora, which was 150. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think who was it? One of the blogs, 1 Mile at a Time, maybe, was talking about the Maldives, the Rangali, or whatever that property is in Maldives, which used to be 150, is now sitting at 180, 200, close to. And that used to be a really nice sweet spot for somebody that wanted direct overwater bungalow access using their points. Unfortunately, that has gone up from 150 to 180 to even 200. Who knows where these points are headed next? But it's good to know that the free night certificates are still enjoying the confidence amongst some of the members, at least, and that the Aspire card continues to sort of keep its sheen by offering you diamond status and free night certificates that you can use anywhere in the world. But until next time, have a wonderful evening, or have a good night, rather. I'll see you folks on the next stream, or at least on Discord. Take care. Cheers, folks. Bye.